Welcome in, Prep Extra Podcast. I'm Chris Basnett, flying solo this week as we get down to the end of the regular season for boys basketball in the city and across the state. It's a fun time of year. Girls sub-districts starting Monday night with some of the first-round games. We'll get into the sub-district semifinals Tuesday, finals Thursday. We'll get Class A and B sub-districts and districts next week. Class A district pairings announced next Tuesday. But for now, we have some business to take care of this week, especially in the city. The mythical city championship is still up for grabs on the boys' side. You have three teams still alive to win the city title: North Star, East, Southeast. We all know, we've been talking about it all year. These teams have been beating up on each other since day one, week one of the season. Now we're down to it, and it's all you can ask for if you're a fan of close races, of competitive games, of evenly matched teams. This is what you want. These three teams that are left, North Star, East, Southeast, they all play each other this week, and that's what makes this really fun. We'll kind of run down the city title race here a little bit. North Star is in the driver's seat under first-year coach Lee Steinbrook. They're currently 3-1 against city foes. They're the only team in the city with fewer than 2 losses to city opponents. They play Lincoln East Tuesday night, Valentine's Day night, in a game that's going to go a long way towards deciding this thing. Lincoln East 3-2 in the city. Lincoln Southeast also 3-2 in the city. Southeast plays North Star on Friday. So if you're North Star, you control your own destiny, right? You win tomorrow, you win Friday, you're the city champs. If you lose tomorrow, now all of a sudden a lot of things come into play. You start looking at some tiebreakers and things. If you lose tomorrow, if you're North Star, can you beat Southeast Friday? Give yourself a chance. If you're Lincoln East, can you win that game Tuesday against Lincoln North Star? You've got to wait the rest of the week, because this is Lincoln East's last game against a city team Tuesday night against North Star. That would make East 4-2. They'd have to await the outcome of that Southeast and North Star game on Friday. Southeast wins that game. If East wins Tuesday night against North Star, and then Southeast beats North Star Friday night, Southeast is your city champs. They've got the 19-point win over Lincoln East just a couple weeks ago when they were in the middle of a 7-game winning streak to kind of resurrect their season. And the Knights are on a 3-game losing streak right now, but none of those games have come against city teams. So a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue this last week of the season. Not only in the city, but also how the city teams are going to stack up, statewide against statewide competition. We're talking district seeding on the line for a lot of teams this week. You look at Lincoln East; they're sitting in pretty good position to host a district next week. That means home games to get to state. North Star is right there with the chance to host district games. They need a good week. Lincoln Southwest, who went 2-4 in the city, is eliminated from winning the city title, could still host a district. There's a possibility there. The Silverhawks have an enormous week, even though they're not playing, a city team. They're playing Gretna, Kearney, Millard North this week. That's 3 top 10 teams, including number 2 Millard North, number 3 Gretna. If Southwest has been up and down, if you find a way to win all 3 of those games, they get all 3 of those games at home in Lincoln at the Nest. If you can find a way to win all those 3, get some other things to fall your way, you're going to be right there in line with a chance to host a district tournament and do that as one of the hottest teams in the state, maybe the hottest team in the state, not named Bellevue West, just with the caliber of opponents you're going to play this week and what that can do for your wild card points, for your confidence as you head into the postseason. So the city games are important. They're key, but there's some games out there too that are going to mean a lot for some of the teams in the city, even if they're not playing city opponents. It's been so interesting to go through and look at some of these records in the city. We're not going to have a team in the city finish with a losing record this year in the regular season on the boys' side. That's pretty remarkable. I'm not sure if it's ever happened before since we've had 7 teams in the city in Class A. Everybody's going to finish about 500 in the regular season going into the postseason. And you could name any one of the 7 teams in the city as a team that could be a dark horse or a spoiler when it comes time to fill out those state tournament fields and who's going to be playing at Pinnacle Bank Arena here in a few weeks. All it takes is one good night by the right team, and you pick off one of those Metro squads, and all of a sudden you're in the state tournament, and maybe with a pretty good seed, and essentially playing home games, right? You've got the Lincoln schools playing at home. If you can get 2 or 3 of them in, if you upset a couple teams and give yourself a shot, maybe you sneak a team or 2 into the semifinals, then all of a sudden then it gets really interesting. So just it's a great time of year. It's the start of what I think is probably the best time of year on the high school sports calendar, the postseason basketball stretch, starting now through the middle of March. So much fun. Obviously, the state tournament, both boys and girls, is so much fun just to see the different teams converge on Lincoln, to see the great stories. But I think Lincoln's success on the boys' side this year has really added another layer, another level of interest and excitement to this. There's been great high-level games between city foes this year. I was at East and Pius on Friday night, the Pink Out game. Great atmosphere, maybe the best I've seen all year. East rallies from 11 down in the fourth quarter to beat Pius and give themselves a shot at the city title this week. So it's going to be a hugely fun week. It's going to be a hugely fun week next week, the week after that, the week after that. It's the best time of year. Make sure you're staying tuned to Prep Extra, to journalstar.com. We're going to have everything covered for you. We've got state wrestling starting this weekend, Thursday, down in Omaha. Can Lincoln East make a run at a state championship? We'll see. They're going to be one of the favorites in Class A. Stay with us. We'll have all the coverage. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week.